Oh, I'm blowing kisses like, did you catch him a night? I'm Cupid with arrows, I'm shooting my shot. Honey, I get it, oh, yeah.
I don't know the song very well. A flat with C.
Drop me a pin, hop in the whip and come over. Oh, yeah. The way you got me all in my head. The way you got me all in my head. Think I'd rather you in my bed. Whatever it is, no, I can take it. I'm counting the days. How many days till I can see you again?
No, 2023, or sorry. Right, 2023 from. I spiraled down to 2023 this morning. I'm back to 2103. And my most recent over the board results just arrived. So my peak over the board is 1550 after a re-rate. It was 1555 and they re-rated it. And now I'm back to 1522. And I'm on a 4-win streak. So I'm 30 years old. If I'm not, 1800 is a pretty big jump. If I'm 1800 over the board by my birthday, my 31st birthday, I got to, not to make excuses, but she's a pretty excuse. She's a pretty excuse and a pretty big excuse. You know what I'm saying? Just like hanging out with a puppy in a phone booth. It's one reason my online numbers compared to my over the board are even more inflated than most. When you listen to Kara Nakamura or other streamers speak about it, yeah, online's inflated, but it shouldn't be. The disparity is even more drastic for me because I'm relaxed here. I don't have to worry about my dog. I feel like a good dad. When I'm at the club, especially for classical time control, I'm just like, would you fucking make a move? I got a large puppy that needs me. Right? And I'm a shelter puppy dad, so I want attention. I like being home alone, Dad. Mr. Dad, I know, but I love you too. Let me take your collar off because it jingles. Can't play chess with her collar. Distracts me. It's not your fault. Nope, Dad put it on. That's why Dad took it off. You just live your life as a dog. Oh, to be a dog.
Blowing kisses now.
What's the first verse?
Blowing kisses like, did you catch them at night? Mm-hmm. Just skin to skin, I want to get closer and closer. Yeah.
But over the board, if I could just relax like I do online and have my dog with me or have her at the hotel, or I could just go check on Nova, make sure she's doing okay, I'd be a fucking 1700 player. And I can't check my phone if the opponent uses a long think, which in classical time control, you'd be wise to use at least 2 long thinks. Long thinks to me are 7 minutes or more for one move. But if I could check Furbo, which is the dog camera, in between my games without the arbiter worrying I'm cheating and banning me from the tournament, I'd be okay. Because I could say, no, be okay, babe? What's going on? I can see on the camera, I can toss her a treat. But no phone's allowed at chess events. So just sit there and blunder. I'm still in the low to mid 1500s. If I can get to 1800 by my 31st birthday, I'll keep going, most likely. That's still young enough and getting good enough in a short enough time period while still working and having other responsibilities that some business people could justify that investment. If I'm 1,800, I did it mostly on my own. I mean, St. Louis Chess Club has fabulous facilities and the best trainers in the world, of course, but I haven't been able to attend a lot. So with a little bit of group guidance, let's say I got to 1,800 by my 31st birthday. Susan Polgar said you could become a grandmaster if you started at age 30 from scratch. And I've got a nice foundation. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I am going to compete every weekend over the board, at least 4 of the 6 games, because I like to use the round 2 bye. It's brilliant. I don't know why other people don't do that. If I were a parent of a chess kid and there were 3 rounds per weekend, I would say, well, during one of those, you need to go talk to the grandmaster for an hour. Why would you go play against another human about my level or a little worse when there's a grandmaster sitting over there? And if you play all 3 rounds, you only have a few minutes with the grandmaster and you're sharing him or her with all the other athletes that are amateurs. So you guys go beat each other up. I'll be with the grandmaster. So I can't play all 6 games. It's stupid. I have a grandmaster there. The grandmaster isn't in the playing hall. Amateurs are. So at most 4 games out of the weekend, but I'll be consistent. Got one more run in me. And in part, I have to know, though I think I know the answer. Because, like I said, even tired, I've played my fair share of 1800s. I don't know how many I've played. 1800s or better. And I've got a good feel for that level of play. It's not about starting as a kid, necessarily. Until you get to maybe Masters, which, of course, I don't play Masters. Let's play a few online games. Shouldn't do this, but I want my online Blitz to be 2,200 before New Year. That way I can immediately do a speed run to start off 2026 in my rapid time control. That's what it was. Throwing petals like, do you love me or not? Head is spinning it. It don't know when to stop. But you said forever, babe. Did you mean it or not? Hold on, hold on. You leave me on red, babe, but I still get the message. Instead of a line, it's just 3 dots, but I can connect them. Instead of a line, it's 3 dots, but I can connect them. And if it ain't right, babe, you know I respect it. But if you need time, just take your time, honey. I get it out. Yeah. We'll hear this a couple times. The way you got me holding my head, I think I'd rather you in my bed. You're less wanted than me. That's all I know for sure. Yep, it's safe. Let's go. What do you want? That's interesting. Correct. What does that mean? What the fuck is that? So you don't really want me to get there because you might have to move your queen and give away your bishop, which will make me quite happy. My queen's got plenty of options to run away if I need to. What are you doing, prick? What are you doing? Ah. Bitch. This is getting shady. I don't know that I like that check that much. What? Oh, you made a move. Oh, I didn't see that last move. I thought you resigned here, which... Yeah, mouse slip, I guess. Yeah. Oh, you were mad. Well, I mean, you got to take the rook. And me. If you're not my friend, doesn't mean you're friendless. Someone might care about you. Don't just give away your rooks because you're sad. Yeah, I'm blown away. Grab the stage, hit the mic and blow 'em all away. Superstars, but they know I blow 'em all away. They know I blow 'em all away. Away. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of research on the Slav. How well do I know the Slav? I know I love the Slav. You don't always have to know everything about a person or thing. What? It's 2025. People are marrying robots. I want to love the Slav. I can love the Slav. Ooh, I love the Slav. Oh, the Slav is so beautiful. The Slav is sexy. I want to dream at night. It's nothing but Slav fantasies. Where could that one go? Do I want to play the semi-Slav or do I want to do the full thing? Do I want a little tease with the semi-Slav? No. Slav it up. But I'm quite confused about that enemy's play. I'm grateful for the win. I don't tell him no. It'd be rude to tell him no. But brings me back to within 22 of my peak. Let's glance my over the board journey a little bit. And over the board, here's how I look at over the board. I didn't move to fucking St. Louis and sell my second home to be a 1,500 level athlete. Whether I'm 1,300 or 1,500, I care because I'm human. And I have feelings. You know, any rating fluctuation sucks. It's not in our favor. But at the end of the day, like, I'm here to be 1,800. And once I'm there, I'll have to work on really controlling not just my emotional reactions to a win or loss, but long-term letting it affect me. Because once I reach 1,800, that's a good club player by rating. That's an A player. So if I start improving past that, which 1,800 is a good player, don't get me wrong, but it's not, undoable if you're putting the time in at a legitimate facility like St. Louis or Charlotte, where you have access to people who know what the fuck they're doing. And let's say I got like 1,830, and then let's say I spiraled like I did recently. That was due to me starting a new job and I hadn't played much. Now I'm back. You'll see me winning again because I'm a lot better than this level. I'm not going to lose to 1,400s often if I'm rested. Ideally, my dog's at daycare and I haven't taken a month break. But if I were in the 1,800s and I dropped back down to like 1,801 or even below, that would really drive me insane. And not just initially after the game. Because 1,300, one, I know I can get it back. Even if I drop to 1,300 over the board, I'm not going to lose to them very often. We'll never now. And I know that's not my goal. My goal is not to get back to 1,500 or even get to 1,600. I don't care until it's 1,800. That's when it's a legitimate player. That's when I'll listen to you talk. As a chess player, now you can still be a human being, and I've got some friends. In fact, one of the reasons I sound so angry is one of my chess friends, and I don't have that many friends. I'd say I have two friends. Two where if I had an event in my apartment complex or something and I were more social, which I'm not, I've got two that come to mind who I would invite. One, he's probably like 70. I'd say he's in his late 60s or early 70s. And I get along with old people. I like their music better. I like their ideas better. My dad's, he's softened up, but most of my friends loved him. And he coached us, but they consider my dad kind of a hard ass. So my dad's into the old music. My dad's, into working hard as long as the employer rewards it appropriately. My dad's just a good person, but he's hardcore, especially with sports. And he got into chess for a little bit. He's just working too much, and he's about to retire, so who knows if he'll get into chess. My dad's the type. I've told my dad repeatedly, I think he'll end up, once he gets into chess, because he can't stop. If I'm into it, he'll get into it. And he's getting to that age now where he still throws a damn good football. It was a good spiral, and we were at the tailgate for the Mizzou-Kansas game. And he's out there throwing the ball. And there's some kids that are, between 18 and 22, Mizzou students, who looked like they played some ball in high school. They're not getting recruited by Mizzou or anything. They went to Mizzou to be kids and students. But I'm like, you probably played quarterback in high school. And they can spin it a little bit. And my dad's out here just off his right foot, which is your off foot, so you're not setting your feet. And my dad's 63. I'm like, damn, he looks better than some of these kids that played small high school football in Missouri. They were pretty good players. He throw the ball good. He can't throw it as far anymore. But once that starts to go, where he really loses his velocity on his balls and stuff. Like of course, you can't jump after, your mid-40s. There was a time, I guess it was early college, where me and my friends were obviously more athletic than our parents. We were already more athletic, but it was clear when we were in college because they had age now. When we're in high school, we start working out, we start doing squats and box jumps. We're getting a lot different than we were when we were in junior high and playing more casually. Well, not casual with my dad, but when we were playing and, we weren't supposed to be jumping high and running fast. We were just supposed to be fundamentally sound. But then in college, the parents start to lose a step. So then we're still at our best, maybe getting a little better, and they can't jump anymore. So that was when I remember, my dad still played smart and was definitely valuable, but he wasn't, able to do some of the things he used to. And then your distance when you're on your throws go, but he still throws baseball really well and is accurate. It's just that now his velocity might go a little bit, and I can see him just texting me one day and saying, Dayton, I got the 1,500 on chess.com. I wouldn't be surprised. That's who my dad is. He's smart, got a great memory, and once he sets his mind to something, he will dissect it, figure out his own approaches, and then ask me if he needs any help, but he'll probably just figure it out. But he didn't know how the pieces move until I introduced him at age 60, so I don't know what he could do. But it'd be fun to get him in St. Louis and let him. I mean, he would not like losing, so he'd get his butt kicked by some kids that are trained, and then he might, be inviting a grandmaster over for dinner. And I'm like, Dad, that's not supposed to be your friend, man. He's supposed to be traveling and competing. And I can see Benjamin Bach, or one of the grandmasters in St. Louis, going, I love Mike. No, Mike's. We're gonna get Mike sorted out. He's gonna be better than you, Dayton. I'm like, hey. But anyway. But over the board is what matters. Like, it's not that online chess training isn't legitimate. I've compared it to street basketball. It's not that street basketball players can't play basketball, or I wouldn't prefer them over someone I know nothing about if I had to bet on who can play real basketball, if I was building a team for real basketball. But it's a different game. I mean, you're turning your eyes away from the basket. You're dribbling too high. You're doing too much on your own, where the defenders in the NBA will work together, cut off your spots, and you can't do that much on your own like you do in street basketball. So it's not a guarantee that you can play real basketball. You can see the tools, you can see the athleticism, like tactics and chess, but you don't really know that they're going to be good basketball players per se. That's how online chess is. So with over the board, I feel like 1800s is when the street bullshit goes away. Some of them might not be as good with tactics. Well, they're better. I'm 50. I mean, they're a lot higher rated than me, so that's not true. But once I get to 1700, I guarantee you that's when I'm planning to start really, really, really getting serious about openings. It is 1700, and then once I hit 1800, I might actually get some assistance from other humans. But on my own, I will begin preparing my own openings at 1700 because I feel like it's starting to get close to necessary, and it's more just a wake-up call. So when I get to 1800, I'll have the foundation. But like I said, anyway, two of my, I would consider chess friends, and the younger one, the older one's good. He's my level, and he's getting better. It's weird. He's just taking it more serious. He just went to Iowa City. He's good. But the younger dude, I took my break to get started with my job. I come back and he's 1800. So I don't mean it mean. I mean it. I'm jealous. When I saw him do that, it made me realize how attainable it is because he was me before my break, and now he's 1800, which is my goal. And he's into the chess dojo stuff, which I don't think I need to really do any of that. But aside from 2200 in Blitz, I'll be over the board, 4 out of 6 games of the weekend, as long as I didn't get stuck late at work or anything. And, we'll see. But I don't have evidence that an adult is as disadvantaged as a lot of people think. In my online games, you'd have to pick certain chunks to where you would get a grasp for what I'm actually capable of. Like this morning or yesterday morning, I got off work. I thought I'd play one game at the gas station before I headed home, and it turned into 5 hours. I mean, I got to get control of that. That's my fault. I'm not making excuses. It's completely my fault for getting addicted. It's not chess.com's fault, though. I mean, you look at lawsuits with social media companies, and yeah, of course, it's designed to be somewhat addicted. They have to make money. It's a business. But overall, if you get addicted to anything, it's your fault. So I have to fight that. And the solution is not to play no online chess. I'm never going to be a grandmaster. Even if I got to, the class where established enough coaches would work with me. I don't know that I want to put in that kind of time, especially if I meet a girl or want to start a family. Or I like music. If I got a chance to do some music, I don't want to. Man, grandmasters are different people. International masters are different people. Nothing against masters, but it seems like international masters are. It's I don't know. Like there's a level of precision and just knowledge that is clearly different. And this is more for me talking to people than my own understanding. And grandmasters versus international masters, a lot of times, especially the lower grandmasters compared to the mid to higher international masters, it's mindset. But kind of like how I talk about public speaking, everyone wants to do good in life. It's not a mind. It's not like an attitude. I want to fail. It's keeping the ability to execute your quirks. You know what it is? Is a quirk. Like your weird little things that you have to figure out on your own. When it gets hard and you messed up, like can you mid game, like I brushed my shirt or something to wipe the dust off. Like fuck it, I can't do that. And it's over though, Dayton. You can't do that. But you got to keep some presence about you, and you can't just have a winner's mindset. Like you got to be weird. And I think grandmasters just figured themselves out a little bit better, to put it at a high level. I think grandmasters have figured out their own fucking minds a little bit better than international masters. But international masters are still different people. It's a different category that would take even a talented person. And who knows how much natural talent I have. I didn't start as a kid. And chess isn't a desirable field where, chicks dig it if you're a girl. And I don't like to call it out stuff. I think the best argument for religion, and I'm not religious, but for Jesus, is the Bible says in many ways, in many stories, men are designed to be leaders. The leader of the household, it says a lot of things about it. And it's not that women can't run a business just as good. It's that all things being equal, men are going to dominate every field, in part because, look at Tom Brady. Hey, if I don't have my family anymore and I have to start over there, I will do what I have to do. It kills women to sacrifice that part of their life. And to be the very best at anything, you can't sacrifice that for even a year. But I also do think there are variables where, not necessarily that men are less emotional. I think it depends on what aspect of life or business. But I don't think women are designed to always be the number one. I don't think women are designed to want that. And I think that if there's a God, he or she made the world to where men don't find that attractive. And women do find that attractive. So just biologically, if there's a smoking hot girl like Alexander Botas turned 30 today, like if she were a grandmaster or a teacher, she looks the same. She seems as nice. It makes absolutely no difference. But biologically, you ask almost every woman if she's being honest, do you want the guy who's serving tables and doesn't want to do anything else but serve tables forever? Or do you want the guy who built a business, started an AI app, and almost all girls are more attracted to that. So just biologically, the call it out stuff is cruel. And in the long run, you can force men to even shut up. Maybe not say this, call it out, get people fired. But you'll never force men to find that interesting or attractive or do anything but bow down because we have to have a job and work for you. But we won't like that. Let's see. Call it out. Over the board, the 1800, they call it out. I don't know, man. It's my off day. It's my one day, night a week where I do whatever I want. I just have a good time. Start on my weekend. I don't know where I was going with that, but grandmaster. Like I don't want to be a grandmaster. Like there's a different level of intensity. The chess community, like most things, is full of great people, but there's enough of that call it out stuff to where I certainly don't want to be friends. And I don't want to risk my not reputation. Look at what I just said. But to work for my life or the best years of my life to get good at a game so lonely and difficult as chess, only to possibly have a woman call it out on social media. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I would like to prove important points. Like I just said, young women are going to despise some of their older peers who do the call it out stuff and time's up, time's up, time's up. It's my show. Well, that's fine. But when I looked 2 years ago, Jennifer Shahadi, you have a naked man that you're dominating in a post on Instagram. Time's up. Okay, but back then you already had that. And then you got your shot to stab a man in the stomach and watch him bow down to you like you wanted in that photo. And we all want to feel powerful. We all want to win. And I don't think women should be deprived of opportunities. I think if a woman beats my ass, she can show this video and shove it in my face and say, I can be a grandmaster. And I would fight for a woman's right to be a grandmaster. I don't care. But if I was in a position and I saw a woman being wronged or being talked down to about becoming a grandmaster, I would do something, within reason. It's not my fight, but I don't like that. It's just that I wouldn't want my daughter to do it. And I don't like that you make young women feel like they have to because men were mean to you, or take it out on men who are trying to get into your game. Because I was never mean to any women. I was never at a chess club. As my high school female friends, like I was never mean about women, and I get that sense from the chess women, the older ones, enough of them to where even the very nice ones like Alexander Botez, Anna Kramling, and I'm sure they're feminists to some extent and mental health, or not mental health advocates, and advocates for young women, and that's fine. But the hatred, the call it out, there's smaller Instagram pages, and this is where I worry about smart people. This is where it doesn't hurt my feelings anymore when people aren't super nice to me or weren't in business. He's quiet. I'm smart. I'll explain tech. I'll get good at chess as an adult. And it hurt my feelings. It's like I didn't do anything wrong. But that's just a sad part of life is you don't have to do anything wrong. Humans are creatures that recognize patterns, and we're emotional. And so, you don't want to just bow down and be agreeable, but you have to fit in sometimes. And when I see older females that run Instagram accounts and the man made me wait for 5 hours before accepting a draw. No, he didn't, because no chess game lasts 5 hours on one person's clock. That's a blatant lie. It's a blatant lie. And that's not the only example. But you're just lying about men to get young girls fired up. And that is too much. That is too far. And I think USCF should do something about that. You don't like some of my rants, you want to report that, you need to get that stuff handled first, because that's a problem. Chess games don't last 5 hours on one person's clock. The man could not have made her wait 5 hours to get her title. That is impossible. That is impossible. You are getting young girls fired up to look for bad men and the bad in men everywhere they go. And no matter how pretty they are, when they're 30 or 35 and no man wants to touch them and they can't start families and they're the boss babe, they're going to hate you. They're going to hate you. And I don't hate anyone, but I just, let me get my 1800 and see where things go, because, nothing is worth that. Nothing is worth that. If I'm evaluating a position, especially if it gets more complicated, it might take me an hour if I have the clock to figure it out that it's a draw, and then maybe the right moves. Like that, you can't just call it out because I was thinking, and that's exactly what they do. Even some of the women who are very kind and have earned their success. When there was criticism of women posing half naked by chessboards, and just don't do it by chessboard. I'll support it. You got to make money. It's a shame that chess people don't make what they're worth. It's a shame capitalism and Americans' attention doesn't reward that ability, but they don't care. So yeah, make your money. I don't care if you dress like a model. I don't care if you dress naked, but don't do it by chessboard. Don't do it. Do not. How can you even have any negative content about men at all, even if we are in the wrong, when you have prominent female chess players by a chessboard with their boobs hanging over it? What on earth? And all I can ask is, since I'm not going to be good enough to make money, like I said with chess, didn't start young enough. Who knows if I have the talent? When I've got my guitar and I lose another 10 pounds, and I'm chiseled as fuck, I need you to promote my content of me posing naked by chessboards too. And don't say I'm misogynist, because I'll send an email to any woman who has posed provocatively by a chessboard, and I'll ask her to collab with me. We can make each other money. It's a hard game. Let's get some women looking. Let's get some men looking. I'll be sexy for it. I'll wear nothing but a tie, naked by a chessboard. And I just don't want the, whoa, what's he think he's saying? Because I'll show you pictures of women doing it. And I'm so done with that bullshit. Kyron Lacey just unfortunately ended his life, the LSU receiver who was probably going to be a pretty high draft pick. Oh, it turns out he wasn't guilty. Oh, shit. But they already pulled his invite to the NFL Combine. They already treated him as a criminal. And he killed himself. Someone's mom doesn't have a son anymore. And if they would have just waited before jumping all those conclusions that he was guilty, which he wasn't, should he have killed himself? No. I mean, ideally not. But he wouldn't have had it not been for people jumping to conclusions. So I'm in the chess club. I'm out of the chess club, but I am going to get to 1,800 before I quit. I'm more giving myself the option of quitting. I'll close with this. The Charlie Kirk shooting was sad. Do I agree with Charlie Kirk on everything? His views about America, absolutely. And protecting American workers and young people can do the jobs. And not Vivek Ramaswamy's view, though I like Vivek on most things, that you need these temporary foreign workers to come here because America rewards the TikTokers and the prom queens and the quarterbacks. Oh. And Vivek, no, buddy, that's not the case. And he's earned his success. He's smart. I hate to say this, if you weren't, I had my career in corporate tech ruined by foreign temp workers who are Deloitte consultants from India. And so would I vote for Vivek? You would have to get rid of any rhetoric like that. You're in America. And so the solution is not to change America so we incentivize different things. It's to take the few Americans who do want to be quote unquote nerds and say that's fine. And he can learn code if he wants to learn code. And if she wants to study math instead of, fight like hell to be a manager at a young age and isn't sure she wants to do that, then she can fucking do that. Vivek, that's your solution. It's not to criticize our culture as if India has something special in their water. That's definitely not the way to do it. But a lot of the issues from the Charlie Kirk shooter shouldn't have died for sure. Like his views on women and men's roles in the household. As much as I just said about women, I do think it's not good with the way things are going, because women are going to be lonely. Women are not attracted to men who are lesser, and so many men are lesser these days. And then they wonder why no men want to marry them, and men are different, and men just want to have sex. And Charlie Kirk's solution was, men, you do whatever you have to. And the environment is getting to where someone will just be better than us. But he shouldn't have been shot, is the point here. And there have been many shootings. Luigi Mangione, I disagree with that. Because even though his case was more, I guess, logical up to the murder, he's still being the judge, jury, and executioner on somebody's life. And it starts with a career. Jennifer Shoddy was the judge, jury, and executioner of Alejandro Ramirez's career. Was Alejandro Ramirez wrong? I don't care to research it. Seems like he was shady. She was a judge, jury, and executioner. And she thinks, I think she's getting older and she wants to be known as someone who stood up for women, and that's fine. But it's also fine for men to say, whoa, now you stay away from me, crazy. Because that's not your job. And when it starts like that, then men feel like, okay, I'll call it out too then. You want to call it out? Well, here's my call it out. But unfortunately, then it gets to Luigi Mangione thinking he needs to be the judge, jury, and executioner of a man's existence. And if we have confidence, which confidence starts with proving to ourselves we can learn anything. Public speaking is the best way because everyone cares about that. If you're a good chess player, some people might not like that. It might be worse for you. Now, usually you're going to be viewed as smarter and have better opportunities. But in the corporate world, for example, some positions, they don't want you to be smarter than them. You're a good chess player? It might make me look bad if my My fucking intern's smart. And it passes me up. That's how they think. But if you have some confidence, you can learn anything. Chess, guitar, public speaking. You start to think you might be able to get out of other situations or mindsets. You don't shoot people. Also, no employer can ever do what was done in my case, which is play to that little cop-out that only certain people from a certain country who started at a certain age can learn certain things. It's the little things, it's the little things that you let go that turn into what America's experiencing now. No bullshit. Where did you come up with that? Why can't a 20-year-old learn tech from scratch who's American and it's our country? Why not? And it's never discussed. The conversations are shut down because they think that's going to stop, curiosity and possibly ideas turning negative is shut up. And they're absolutely wrong. The solution is to take away their escape routes. You got to go to HR if you want somebody gone. Yeah, you've earned it. Yeah, it's your company, but you're under the American law. So you also get the money and stuff, whereas newer people get less, which is what is reasonable. But you don't get to say, well, that's an American who didn't, work in tech. Because then with that, you're saying that's an American or any person that can't learn something new. And even if I went insane and died alone, got banned from chess, let's say, because some women didn't like what I just said, which there's not any women at the top, and if there were, I don't care to change my mind. I don't have a problem with women. No problem with women. But a smaller portion of women, of course, play chess than men right now, but there's not one within 100 points of the tier 2 of men. Not a single one. Not saying I'm there or I'll ever get there or those women aren't special people. Or they could have been a little bit stronger if the path were easier. I'm saying Hans Niemann is that tier 2. 2730, 2740. The best women, I think it's 2 Chinese women still. I'm pretty sure. They're not within 100 of Hans Niemann. So what on earth makes women think, if you get every woman in the world to try, that a single one will be in Hikaru Nakamura's class? Well, Susan Polgar was good. Judah Polgar, absolutely. So there are exceptions. And can a woman sustain that? Play at the number 1 spot for a period of time? Not just, look, she beat Magnus. And look, she beat Fabiano Caruana in that game, or even that tournament had a better result. No. Over a long period of time, I think you'll find men will rise to the top in almost every field. And I think it's good for society to operate that way. I think when there's wars and stuff, women want to call it out, and men are not going to protect them. Say, look, there was a Marine that had to go to court and defend his life. Might go to prison for saving people from a dangerous person. And it's going to get to the point where I could help. All right, ladies, fight them. You go fight them then. You go fight them. Well, no, what we actually mean is we just want this situation to be catering to feminism, but not that one. And then you're going to start picking and choosing. And men will say, it's not worth it. But if men don't, I'll stop ranting. You go to sleep. But if young people don't feel like they can get out of a situation, and that starts with proving they can learn something new, men will become violent because that's just biological. More women might attempt suicide, but men get nasty when it gets beyond the point of just punishment or teaching lessons or a little bit of unfairness. When it gets taken too far, that's how men and women turn. Usually, men go. It's harder to not get very, very dark, and women get, maybe a little more sad, or even constructively meaner, depending on the woman. But they're not going to really be a threat to society. And the feminism solution and the liberals right now is, well, men need to change and men need to suck it up. And biologically, just it's not going to happen. Men can control it, but you're trying to change the way different sexes feel. And unfortunately, I might have to live in that world where AOC acts like, I fucking had slaves, or I was a 60-year-old straight white male who promoted my frat boys over women. Part of the reason I'm this way is I had a female boss who I liked, and she's very competent. But 5 straight white male CEO, I mean, just you can't find one fucking woman. You can't find one. You can't find one of all the many women in that environment. At college, you got to give it to straight white male and straight white male and straight white male. And to see some corporate women just fall in line with that or get mad at younger men makes me think women are a different type of emotional. I mean, I'm emotional. Listen to me talking, but how can you get mad at the young men or not be kind to the young men? Be a bitter old corporate woman when look at who fucked you. Look at who fucked you. I would have been on your side, especially before all that. And look at who fucked you. And you're going to please them. You're going to bow down to them after they've taken care of each other, promoted their straight white male fraternity brothers, literally, in many cases. And then sit there and watch a young man sell his house, fuck with his mom, like I had something to do with it. Well, I'm just getting started in life. And men aren't emotional in that way. And if I had to live in that situation, hopefully some of the ideas I've shared, even if not presented well, like in this video, can help young men, especially, develop some skills or confidence to get out of that situation, learn a new skill. And I think then, even if it's unbearable and you have to internalize it, at least you say, okay, but life's fine. I don't have to hurt myself or others because I can still improve my situation, even if the rules are stupid. Even if women want to delete the Bible, which again, I'm not religious, and they want to be men, and they want to dominate men, and they want to lead wars, I can still improve. They want to call it out. They want to ruin my life. They want to take matters in their own hands, and someone like AOC gets in charge, which they can say what they want. But if they're in power, I mean, Biden didn't say he was going to open the border, but he sure did. He left it open. That's what they'll do. They'll let men just get fucked. They'll send men to go die in war so women can ruin men's lives here. And as weird as it sounds, my chess journey would at least show young men, you might be fucked up like I am. You might be sad. You might go through some major unfairness as all this change happens. Change for the sake of change often. But you can still at least make it a little better for yourself. You're not completely stuck. And that will keep them from turning to suicide or violence, hopefully. A lot of people aren't happy, but you can be unhappy and still have a decent life. Aren't I a role model?